Alright guys, so day one of E3 is done, and I think we pretty much only saw Nintendo today on the show floor.
No, I looked across the hall at Sony.
Well, that's more than I did, actually.
I played a Sega game, so there you go.
There you go. Alright, so I thought we'd just, give our highlights and lowlights or any thoughts that came to us during the show floor of what we saw today, what we played. Yeah, just our favorite and maybe least favorite things, although I feel like there won't be too many of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess for me, just one thought came to mind real quick, and that's how Nintendo's booth was like half Smash Brothers. It's like half Smash Brothers and half the rest, and most of the rest doesn't include 3DS games, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
but
I think that actually, ironically, might be my low point. Well, I love Smash Brothers. I'm super hyped for it, but it's almost a case of be careful what you wish for, because while I'm super happy to be able to play it, Nintendo usually has a lot more variety at their booth, and it's weird to see. I would say probably 75% of their booth is Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
The rest of it is other Wii U games, and then there's literally no 3DS games other than Smash Brothers.
And Professor Layton.
And Professor Layton, which is weird.
Which they're only attached to booth bays. They don't have their own
That's right.
thing set up.
And
well, not booth bays, but the girls that Nintendo has.
Right.
It's actually super ironic. Yeah, basically. It's actually super ironic because usually it's the other way around. They have 3DS everywhere, and it's like, come on, where's the Wii U content? So it's nice to see them really pushing Wii U, but at the same time, it's weird to not have anything else on 3DS to look forward to.
It's a Nintendo curse. They can only support one system a year.
It seems like
it seems well.
And in the case of Smash Brothers, like even then, it's a Wii U game as well. It's not even an exclusive, really.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that there's very little 3DS games and there's very little variety, but it's also kind of nice because it's so easy to get into Smash. There's not these long lines. The matches are only 2 minutes long.
Right.
You are going to play this game no matter what. You're not going to wait very long for it. So
yeah, you can cycle in and out super quickly.
Exactly. So there's the advantage of that. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's nice that we have all that, but it's kind of unfortunate that there's not more to see. Although what is there is really good, but.
Well, let's just keep in mind that this all could change tomorrow when an unannounced 3DS game that hopefully is something along the lines of Majora's Mask or Metroid is announced.
Right, they did that round table, so who knows what's going to show up there.
Yeah, that's true. No, and actually, the whole Smash Brothers focus kind of leads me to another point, which I just thought of while I was walking around, and that's just, I have never seen Nintendo throw all their weight and all their full PR support behind a game ever in my life, like I have this new Smash Brothers. I mean, even compared to stuff like Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, those are blips on the radar compared to. I mean, you can really tell that they are putting this is what the Wii U's hopes are riding on for them.
Oh, and it would, not only that, I mean, it has to, though, because that really is the only Wii U game coming out this year. Besides Hyrule Warriors.
Actually, the more I think about it, yes, a lot of the games that were announced today do show a 2015 release, but still, as far as Wii U is concerned, September we have Hyrule Warriors. In October we have Bayonetta. November we have Sonic Boom, which good. Whatever you might think about that, and then of course Smash Brothers thrown in there as well, and whatever else they might have along with it. So it's not a bad showing. It is spread out pretty nicely. So a lot of these games that were announced are 2015 games, but I think the 2014 lineup is mostly solid.
Yeah, I mean that actually is true. They do have a fair amount of games this year. It is just all so many of the games they announced aren't this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a couple of games that were previously 2014 that kind of silently slipped into 2015, like Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Right.
And I think a lot of us probably figured that Yarn Yoshi, now known as Yoshi's Woolly World, probably would be a late 2014 title. And as amazing as it looked, I'm kind of surprised that it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. But I guess that game has been pretty heavily revamped, it seems like, since the original. And
it looks completely different from the original.
Yeah, it totally does. I mean, this is effectively a Yoshi's Island game, in the Yarn universe, with some elements of that as well. And actually, I want to talk about that, but that game's awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I was deeply impressed by that game.
Right? It touched me.
Yeah. I had a grin on my face the whole time, and I just kept saying to myself, wow, these are amazing ideas. Like, this is some incredible game design.
Yeah, it brings like it really feels like what they're trying to do with like Kirby's Epic Yarn, but just way better. Because whereas that wasn't even a Kirby game, this truly feels like a Yoshi game with these new ideas layered on top.
Yeah, they integrate it back in. It doesn't feel like Kirby's Epic Yarn at all. It's just as far other than visuals, and the visuals, of course, are a step up and just wonderfully used. And they integrated the ways that Yoshi plays with the yarn concepts so well, like, you know, and of course they have those little touches of that Kirby's Epic Yarn had, where his feet becomes wheels and he's almost like a motorbike going across.
Yeah,
or he has propeller. Yeah, it has a propeller whenever he's doing his little flutter jump. You know, great stuff like that, and it just, you know, it makes me happy. That's all it does. That's the way to describe the game. You play it and you just can't help but smile and have a good, happy face on you.
Yeah, not even just the yarn. In that third level, it had those little bird eggs, and when you threw them, it left out a streak of cotton or something like that, kind of.
You create your own platforms.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And then it kind of faded out, but so it's not necessarily going to be just yarn in that game, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and I had the pleasure of, you know, playing with someone else, co-op, and usually, you know, co-op can be kind of a, you know, bummer when you're playing something like New Super Mario Bros. U, where people are just killing each other, but you know, for this, I genuinely had fun working with the guy. Like, we really played well off of one another. Might not have been as fun if he wasn't very good at it, or I wasn't, but we both were clearly, you know, experienced gamers, and it was really fun. Even he said, completely independent of me, wow, this, like, feels great. Like, it's just this natural, emergent gameplay.
You could say it has a good feel.
You could. Yeah, I also had fun working with my teammates, because you can eat your teammates and turn them into eggs, basically, or yarn balls.
And you actually have to, because there's some enemies who you can't defeat, like the piranha plants, unless you eat the other Yoshi and spit them back out at it.
Yeah, some really creative stuff going on there.
Yeah, it does seem like a good troll game as far as the multiplayer, because the guy I was working with, because they sort of encourage you to be playing with somebody at all times with this demo, but yeah, the guy was constantly eating me and kept tossing me into the pits and whatnot.
That sounds like me. I'm sure it wasn't me.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been Andre, but I don't think he looked kind of different. But yeah, just constantly tossing me pits, and I don't even know if he intended it, but I was like getting frustrated because he just kept killing me, and then he would die, and I'm like, dumbass. But no, it was still fun. I can imagine working with somebody maybe in the way that the two-player works, where you do get to use each other as, you know, you basically have a constant egg with you by having a partner.
Well, speaking of teamwork, actually, another game that seemed to kind of use it, maybe not quite as explicitly, but was I keep forgetting the name, that Squid game.
Splatoon.
Yeah, Splatoon. Yeah, where it's like a team-based shooter, but Nintendo style. So it's not really a shooter, but it is. It's such a weird thing. It was really interesting, and me and Ash actually played it together.
Yeah, and man, and to not to sound like a broken record, but that just impressed the hell out of me too. I mean, it's so hard. Describing what makes Nintendo games awesome is often very difficult, because it's almost like a je ne sais quoi quality, where it's like you can't really explain it, but it's just there. It's like it's just the Nintendo difference, and that sounds like PR, but it's really not. It's just like there's a certain you're playing a Nintendo game when something just works, and it's this amazing idea, but it feels like it was there all along, kind of.
Right.
Like it feels so obvious. So why didn't anyone do this before?
Yeah, just play some bad games, and it kind of helps you realize how good Nintendo games are.
Well, I haven't had a chance to play Splatoon yet, but just watching the gameplay demo they had during the digital event looked so cool. I mean, it's capturing territory by spraying paint. You can easily see how well or how bad you're doing, using them as quick ways to get everywhere. It just seems so intuitive and fresh and fun and fast, and I'm guessing, I mean, you guys enjoyed the demo, I'm guessing that's exactly how it played.
Yeah, I mean, what you saw, I mean, what you saw is representative of how it played, but I still didn't fully grasp how it played until I played it.
Yeah.
Right.
I still found it to be, but it makes sense.
Here's a question though, can you kill other guys, and how exactly did it work? Was there a time limit, and sort of like capture as much area as possible with ink?
That's exactly how it went. Yeah, you could take out other people by spraying them with ink, or you could collect power ups, or maybe I forget. I don't think you could power up your weapon.
There's a meter that fills as you play, and then once it is filled all the way up, then you can press I think R to activate your paint tornado weapon. You get like awesome. 5 tornado shots that decimate everything in your path. But you don't actually get points for killing other team. The opposing team. It's all decided by how much paint you splatter on the overall area. So whoever has more paint on the environment at the end wins. But of course, destroying the other teammates helps in that sense because then they can't do anything for a while. Yeah. But yeah, it isn't like a kills for points type thing at all.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it feels very very refreshing, really.
Yeah, and it was just like it felt great to kind of dive into your own paint and slide along really fast. And of course, as you dive, your paint refills, which is intuitive.
Well, I love like jumping to puddle to puddle, like to another puddle I had, they're separated by a different paint color.
And and one thing you can do, which is cool that you discovered, is you can touch a teammate on the gamepad and do like a huge sky jump to them.
Yep.
Yeah, which is so you can warp to a teammate instantly, and I just had a great time. Like I kind of figured out that a good strategy for me was hanging back. You have these paint grenades that refill when you refill your paint. So I would just go kind of on the outer borders of an enemy area, and then just throw paint grenades and splatter them everywhere, and kind of get that area for my color without kind of putting myself directly in harm's way. Right. It was super fun. I can't wait for this game to come out.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Do you guys play anything that interests you or stood out to you today?
Hyrule Warriors. That was the first game I went to. As soon as it opened, I wanted to get the chance to play it, and got to learn a lot about the game from the demo. There were only 2 characters available, Link and Zelda, and we already know about 2 others being Midna and Impa. And beyond those 4, there are 5 character slots open in the main menu selection. So I don't know if there's going to be multiple pages, but there's at least 9 playable characters according to that screen, which is very interesting. And the fact that they brought in Midna means that my theory that I had in the analysis, being that this might be a whole time portal thing, bringing in elements from all over the Zelda universe, might be true. I mean, Midna is riding Wolf Link.
I mean, either that or they're just not caring at all, but in that sense of
that too.
They're not trying to make it fit.
So it either makes complete sense or it makes no sense.
Yeah.
There's no in between on this one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But as far as gameplay, I mean, it is definitely Dynasty Warriors through and through, but with that Zelda twist. And playing as Zelda was so fun.
So wait, are you saying though, like if you don't like Dynasty Warriors, you're not gonna like this game?
I think that you might still like this game because there are elements of Zelda in it, and they have these characters, and it is like these are super powered versions of the characters that you've come to know over the years. Because the gameplay is very simple, where it's just do regular attacks, and then you can finish off a combo with a stronger attack, and based on how many combos or different things you do, you get much bigger moves, and I discovered quite a bit that kept things fresh as I was playing. Like, Zelda had like this Triforce of Wisdom appear below her and just blast up. And not the actual Triforce, but a triangle representing it, blast up. She would jump into the air, do a few slashes, and then spin forward. She'd switch to her bow and arrow and just decimate the entire area. And there's even some things that I don't remember from Dynasty Warriors. Back when I played in number 3, so I guess they could have added this. But
like Link and Zelda.
Yeah, where if you find a weak pointed enemy, you hit them with that weak point until this bar goes down to 0, and you do a special finishing move on them, which you can see in the Dongo footage with Link, and it's just really cool. There is still that worry that it will get repetitious eventually, but they said that as you play and level up, you'll unlock new abilities. There's these small not even dungeon areas. You just really go into a cavern and pick up an item and then go back out. For items, you can swap between the items to use as much as you want. There's potions that you can use magic for a boost in speed and defense, and have even another attack at your disposal. There's a lot there, and in my short 10-minute demo, I think I killed 900 guys. Nice. So, yeah, there's a lot of combat there, and I I'm really excited for Hyrule Warriors. It really impressed me.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Now you said that there are little caverns to walk into where you get items. Did that kind of answer your question? Because I know in our initial discussion for all the news that was revealed a couple weeks ago, we were like, oh, are there exploration elements? Because we saw Link opening that treasure chest. Do you think that's kind of the extent of it?
It's kind of exploration. It was also kind of just necessary to move forward because the place that you needed to go to get to your next enemy had to be bombed open. So I went into this cove that they showed. You got the bombs. The bombs are infinite. You can throw them as much as you want, integrate them into your fighting. So again, items changing up how you play. And then used them, and then of course got to the Dongo boss at the end and used him to destroy, toss him into his mouth and beat him that way, just like you would in the classics. It just played super well, and even got to see there was the question of Link speaking. And because Dynasty Warriors characters often speak, and that was definitely true here, where Zelda was commenting, Impa was commenting, even Wizro was kind of taunting and commanding his armies in that, but it's all done in text boxes at the bottom, and I didn't hear any voice acting.
That's kind of weird.
But when you played as Link, or when people played as Link, none of that. The other characters would show up as talking, but Link remained silent the entire way.
So he wouldn't even talk in text.
So Link does not even talk in text in this game. So it is holding very true to the Zelda traditions, just in a Dynasty Warriors setting.
Right. How about you, Tom? Anything stand out to you today?
I guess 3 small things, not really big things. I loved how Little Mac played in Smash. He's super quick. I loved his grab move and just punching away at a guy.
Yeah, he was my first match, and I was just kicking ass with him. I destroyed everyone just as Little Mac.
He's really quick, like what they said, and I didn't find it to be a problem, with the not being able to jump much with him.
Although that can't be understated, his air game is not just bad; it's awful.
Really?
Like all of his directionals in the air are just like little whiffs. Like they barely have any reach he's awful in the air. So that, in that sense, it's good because he's super powerful on the ground. He's tough.
Well, I feel I wonder how much how good he is depends on the stage. Like if you're on, say, the Fire Emblem, the Coliseum, right, where it's often just flat. Like I feel like it'd be awesome there. Yeah. Whereas if you're in one where there's just holes all over the place and you gotta jump.
Floats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a poke floats. Yeah, exactly.
Not that poke floats in this, but just an example.
One thing I did notice during the Invitational that I was able to go to that today is that actually, you know how Little Mac has his little KO meter. Even if you fill it, if you land a KO punch, if someone's at 0%, it won't kill. Or at least it didn't Rosalina. So it isn't just an instant kill no matter what. It is, I think, in most cases, but Rosalina was at 0%, and it did 39 damage. Okay. But she just launched a bit and came back. Yeah. Right. So it's not always an instant kill.
It just has very huge knockback. Yeah. So it sort of like doubles the knockback, is what I can get the sense of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's a heavy character too, right? So.
Which is just an ongoing joke. This is just ridiculous, but yeah.
And other than that, I loved Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. I mean, I know it's not super innovative. It just seems like an obvious choice after Canvas Curse to make use of the Wii U gamepad. I love the plasticine art style on that one.
I want to play that so badly.
Yeah, it was the art. I think it's the art style more than anything else that really hooked me. Because even just the look of that game, it looks like everything's just molded out of clay. Yeah. The rainbow twist of the little lines you make, and then Kirby has this new thing where if you hold down the stylus on him, because I don't remember this from Canvas Curse, even though it's been a few years. No, I don't remember it either. Where if you hold your stylus on him for a little bit, he'll grow like double his size and just barrel through everything.
Yeah. Well, he could do the speed. He did do a speed boost.
That's
in there. He turned into a wheel originally.
Yeah, that's in there. There will do a little speed boost, which you have to do into enemies. But he also has this bigger
4 times bigger.
Okay, yeah. I need to play that game.
Smash through walls.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah. I just loved it.
Tank gameplay.
It was a nice surprise for me because I'd kind of worried that they'd forgotten about Canvas Curse, which is one of my favorite DS games of all time.
That started off. That was like one of the first good DS games.
Yeah, it was.
And it stayed with me, and it still has stayed with me. And the fact that we got a sequel today is just still kind of surprising me.
Yeah, it was that actually was totally unexpected.
Yeah,
yeah, that was. I didn't think we'd ever see another Canvas Curse actually.
No. I love they chose this new style for it. It's a completely different style from the Epic Yarn and whatnot.
Yeah, they are exploring different styles recently, it seems. So.
And at the end of that demo, they say thank you for claying, and then they change it to
That's awesome.
That's great. That's
awesome.
Great.
And what was your third one, Don?
The third one was just how Project Giant Robot reminded me a bit of We Play's Tanks and how it's like sort of whimsical kind of style, and I loved just kind of tilting the gamepad around. Like, you have to tilt the gamepad and move with it while going forward, and let's say left stick and right stick are for punching, instead of move your body weight into the punches while going forward to knock over these other robots.
Yeah, it should be stressed that like you punch really slowly in that game.
Yeah, it's like slow motion fighting, basically.
Yeah, but it is interesting. Yeah, you do kind of have to like lean into those punches, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I just kept toppling over. I built terrible robots.
Nice. I haven't played it yet, so.
All right. Well, anyone have any final thoughts or anything you want to mention from today that we haven't yet? I mean, again, we'll be exploring all these games way more in depth in future discussions, plus everything we haven't talked about. But.
Yeah. I guess the big one for me is I did get to try out a little bit of Sonic Boom on Wii U. I haven't tried the 3DS version, but I know a lot of people were interested in my opinions on it.
Because they know you'll like it to some degree.
To some degree. I wonder if I have a better version, that they have a better, more complete version.
Question, did it run at more than 20 frames per second most of the time?
I'm terrible telling frames. So
well, then there you go.
Well, did you fall to the floor? Huh? Did you fall to the floor?
No, I did not fall
good.
through.
Did you use homing attacks?
Yes.
Then maybe they did fix it then.
So that's the thing. I didn't encounter any of the glitches that you guys described.
That would definitely make it better.
That makes me think it is getting a little better, so I'm hoping they might fix it up. It definitely plays very different from other Sonic games. I mean, you're not fast at all unless the game decides it's time for you to go fast.
Right.
But in the combat is very simplistic, and I saw a lot of complaints that the characters talk too much as you're, when they were showing off that pure gameplay footage. They didn't talk nearly as much as that showed off. There was a little bit of incidental stuff here and there, but definitely not as much as it made it seem before. So it never got annoying for me. It's still very early, too early to tell, but I think they have made a little bit of progress since you guys played it. At least I hope. And I'm hoping that they can just keep that progress going so it does become something. Because there's potential here. It just needs a bit more work.
Yeah.
I'd like to say it's crazy. On another point, it's crazy that there's a third-party Wii U game announced with Devil's Third coming out for Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
And it's exclusive.
So it's probably like Nintendo publishing Bayonetta 2 in a way, but they just picked it up after, I guess, THQ went bankrupt, and because the rights for that game went back to the studio, and they kept funding it, I guess.
Yeah, and this is the new Itagaki game, correct?
Yeah, from the Ninja Gaiden creator. So I'm not counting Just Dance 2015 as a
Right. One other thing I did want to mention was I got a chance to play a stage of Captain Toad Treasure Trackers.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That really, really impressed me. And I honestly, going in, I thought it was just going to be, an expansion set of more Captain Toad levels from Super Mario 3D World, and that would have been fine. But I jump into stage 2, I think it was, and Toad has to hop into a minecart, and so I'm like, okay, let's do this. It'll be fun. So I hop in, and then suddenly I'm the Nintendo rep tells me to look at the gamepad. So the TV screen just kind of shows some dynamic views of Captain Toad riding the minecart, but in the gamepad, it's a first-person view of Toad, and you've got to throw turnips at various things, almost like a mini first-person shooter to get the jewels and another collectible scattered throughout the level. But so that's a completely new way to play a Captain Toad level that I was not expecting.
Yeah,
and I assume that's going to be kind of the whole game. Is that they're kind of taking this idea and really expanding it,
make it like a true adventure type game, like a broader scale,
which is really cool. I wasn't expecting that, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see that, and I know Josh Thomas over the BitBlock is going to be excited because he actually predicted this or hoped they would make a whole game based around that, around those style levels. It was a lot, very surprising and very cool to see.
Yeah. Well, one other thing I noticed really quick was, and this doesn't really mean anything much, but I really liked in Mario Maker when you were playing it. I noticed that it's got Mario Paint aesthetics. You've got the undo dog. Even the title screen is a callback.
That's awesome.
To Mario Paint.
I noticed that right away. Yeah, like during the when they showed it off the first time. Yeah, I love Mario Paint and seeing any reference to that. There's a bunch of them in the game. It's great.
Yeah, and I just kind of figured Nintendo had forgotten about it. And one of my most genuine desires for the Wii U is a Mario Paint Wii U update because that's just perfect with the gamepad. And
it makes so much sense.
Yeah, and
but
so
now I almost feel like it's not going to happen now because
But just seeing that the Mario Paint aesthetic was alive and well made me very happy.
So I guess real quick then, the whole Mario Maker thing was interesting because it confirmed the picture that came out that we had the discussion on.
Yeah.
And more surprisingly, maybe, almost most of the things we predicted and hoped for kind of are in the game in some degree.
Yeah.
Like, being able to, just put wings on anything, basically, or any enemies. Which I did. I made a tower of Boomerang Brother, or Hammer Brothers.
You're so evil.
I know.
You made like this horrible chimera-like thing where it was like this. It was like 3 Hammer Brothers joined with a piranha plant with 3 Goombas. It was like a human centipede.
Oh God!
Awful. I was like, what are you doing to these creatures?
It was like a wall. It was like it was just raining hammers, and then these other weird creatures tying it all together.
Yeah.
It was a monstrosity.
And like when you view it in New Super Mario Brothers U mode, it's not that scary because Hammer Brothers have gotten easy over the years. But when you switch to classic mode, suddenly it's like the scariest thing you've ever seen. Mario 1 Hammer Brothers are terrifying.
There is something about that classic art style, right? They were terrifying in that game.
Yeah.
But that actually is something interesting. Is switching art or switching? Well, I just said it right there. Switching art styles is all it is. Like it's not switching like the New Super Mario Brothers engine. It is purely the graphical style.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you look back at it, like it looks pretty convincing. But you can tell, like, I think the background is like all flat. It's not like 3-dimensional stuff. So I'm almost wondering if it's using their web framework, like with Mario and Donkey Kong.
Oh, interesting.
Which also was confirmed to be a game, which I predicted it would be based on GDC.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. It was way too polished for it not to be a game.
Yeah. I just hope that means we'll get a Mario 2 skin and a Mario 3 skin as well. Like, I think that would probably complete the package right there.
Yeah, that would be awesome if they did more with it. Because, what they saw looked promising. I had a lot of fun with it. There's all I can do with it. But I feel like there has to be more. And I feel like there will be more because it's coming out next year.
Yeah, I mean, especially since there's there's a limited selection of enemies from the first game. So
and you can't, like right now, you can't make war pipes that go underground or anything, or it's all above ground levels. So I wonder if there'll be different templates you can choose maybe in the final game.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to make swimming levels, underground levels, castle levels. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I want to put wings on a blooper.
Yeah, that's
wings on Bowser.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's say, speaking of wanting like Mario 2 and Mario 3 templates, let's remember how quick NES Remix 2 came out after NES Remix. It's possible that this game will come out early 2015, and like at the end of the year, we're going to get an update to Mario Maker.
That's true.
Or Mario Maker 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I want is if there's a Mario 2 skin, I want Wart to be able to. You can use Wart because Wart has not ever been revisited.
Wart everywhere.
He hasn't. Not in a Mario game.
And I guess technically he was a dream, fine, but still, it's Wart. He's cool.
Right.
I mean, it's Wart. You got to have him back.
Well, technically everything in Mario 2 is a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of those things came
That's
back?
true. Like Shy Guys and
Right. All right. Well, any final thoughts, guys, or any? I mean, it sounds like we all enjoyed day one at E3, at Nintendo specifically. And we'll branch out eventually to the other booths.
Yeah, I don't know. I did go to the Smash Bros. Invitational. Do you want me to mention that for a second?
Yeah, if you want to give how was that going?
It was fantastic. I didn't even know I was going to go, and then a Nintendo rep came up to us on the floor and just said, "Hey, you guys want wristbands?" And we were like, "Okay, why not?"
It almost made me wonder, and I could be totally off base. It almost made me wonder if the turnout wasn't quite as high as I expected.
I was wondering that too until I got there. It was full. I look back and the entire stadium was the theater.
Like including the upper tiers?
No, I don't think those were available to them. There's no one up there. But the entire regular level was just nuts.
That's awesome.
And honestly, like that whole invitational, it was well run. Jeff Keighley surprisingly seemed like he wanted to be there. I was kind of shocked. And Reggie put in an appearance. Sakurai put in an appearance, and honestly, it was a well-run tournament, and it just really showed me more than anything that Nintendo is here to play ball with the fans, and they really are here for the fans, and it was really refreshing to see. Like, they really, that you could tell they did the research, and you could tell that they were doing what the Smash fans would have wanted, not including the items being on for a lot of the matches, which I guess some fans wouldn't want, fine. But the fact that, they came and they allowed all the heckling, all the booing. They didn't try to family it up. It was like a lot of the there's a few players that a lot of people didn't like, and so they just booed them pretty mercilessly. And at the end, the winner Zero, who used Zero Susamus, he had one request for Reggie, and that was for him to play a For Glory match with him. And Reggie said, "You know what? I play all of our Nintendo, all of our games. I love Nintendo, but I suck at Smash. I just admit it. But now that the 3DS version's here, I can take it with me anywhere, and I'm gonna get really good at it and come back and kick your ass."
Nice.
And it said it right out. And so it was very uncharacteristic of Nintendo. You don't see a Nintendo so uncensored for them.
Well, it's such a callback to his first appearance where, like, I'm here to kick ass and take names.
I was going to say that, and this is the 10-year anniversary of his first E3 appearance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
Yeah, so, we're getting some classic Reggie in there.
Yeah, it's just like, I've always seen Nintendo as kind of like the Disney of video gaming, where they're so private, they stick to their guns, they don't really care what anyone's saying about them, and that can be good, but they're also a little too insular. And this year we see a completely different Nintendo, such as with the Invitational, where they just are really listening to the fans. And even Reggie said in no uncertain terms, he's like, you know what, I can't commit to anything, but after seeing this and the turnout today and all of your passion, you might want to think about taking this on the road, doing a few more of these. So this may be the beginning of something. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, they already do like the Pokemon tournaments, so I could see them branching out, and wouldn't it be a bad idea for them to get more attention?
Yeah.
Actually, I just want to touch on real quick, like this being a different Nintendo, because we didn't touch on it this morning in our super quick and raw, Nintendo digital impressions.
Yeah.
But I thought I did like their entire presentation for the most part, like having the robot chicken sketches, basically.
Those were hilarious.
Bring back Star Fox.
That was awesome.
That was so good.
Bring back Mother 3.
And and then then just how they opened it, the Wada and Reggie like going at it.
Oh my god, fighting.
That was
it just
epic.
Like we were in the press room and everybody was like, you could just hear the chuckling all over because it's just like everybody loved it. It was such brilliance to just get something new and fun.
What they're finally doing is they're finally getting like their presentations, like they're bringing in the playfulness that they're so well known for into the presentations itself. Because their E3 conferences, especially like their earlier ones that we went to, which don't get me wrong, we loved back in the day.
Yeah.
But like they were still like very dry bones at points, not much going on.
Sales charts and
whatnot. Exactly. Sales charts, the sales discussions, which you don't see anymore at all.
It's like you just might get Miyamoto coming out with like a Pikmin in his coat shirt pocket, or that one year with the sword and shield. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm almost beginning to prefer this format, to be honest.
Yeah.
This whole, without all the press conference hullabaloo, you just get to, you get settled in front of a TV and you just watch what Nintendo has to offer. And
and ultimately it works better for us, because if we're at the press conference, we can't cover it.
So. And the best is when Reggie opened up right at the very beginning of the digital event and basically just said, it's just like, oh yeah, so I know you guys didn't think we were going to beat E3 this year. Like, directly addressing all the internet stupidity out there. And it's just like, you can tell they're just listening.
Exactly.
And the Luigi Death Stare was in it. Like, that had to have been a recent, addition, because that didn't happen until recently. So that was cool to see that in there. So it's just, it's interesting to see.
I missed that.
Actually, I don't think I saw that either.
No, I saw it.
It was a split second. It was like 2 seconds.
It's when they mentioned that the NFC stuff would also work for Mario Kart eventually.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, and it would be with Mario Kart 8, and then it cut to Luigi in slow motion death.
So that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So it really was just a fantastic show, and it's such a refresher so refreshing after Sony and Microsoft's and everybody else's conferences, because I think the running theme here is like this was all gameplay. There was no pre-rendered videos, I don't believe, at all.
Not that I can think of. I mean, at least the majority weren't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very few at the least, and it was just tons of gameplay, tons of new games, really, and it just looked like they came here to play, and it was.
Well, it is called Play Nintendo.
Exactly. Yeah. They lived up to their name, so that's good.
And Reggie said it himself. There's nothing wrong with having a little fun, and I think that describes Nintendo perfectly and why they're so important in this industry, especially right now. Not that PlayStation and Xbox aren't fun, but it's a different mentality. It's graphics and more. Where Nintendo's just like, let's just have fun.
More violence in those
that
other
too.
ones.
And that makes it sound so old. I realize listening to you say it, but it's true. Like I said the same thing, and it's like it's so violent, but. It's true. There's something wrong with violence in games. Don't get me wrong, but it gets tiring.
Yeah.
And like I almost couldn't. There was that one game from Software during Sony's conference.
Bloodborne.
I couldn't remember the name of it because it bled into everything else where things were
there's that pun again.
I said it again. But
I couldn't tell the order of Bloodborne.
But I honestly I couldn't. It really did kind of get mixed in with everything else that was had things dying in awful, horrible ways.
And that's the crazy thing is that even after the digital event was done, there were still more announcements like Mario Party 10.
Well, and they're still not done. There's a 3DS game tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a 3DS game tomorrow. There's Devil's Third, which Tom talked about, which is bloody, but it kind of stood out because everything else was kind of cheerful and
that's the thing
happy.
is it stands out when you don't overuse it, and that's why it's so interesting to see a game like that. Not that Wii U censor, or not that Nintendo censors things anymore, but when that's not all or most of what you have, it really makes more of an impact.
Yep, yeah, absolutely, totally agree. That actually would be a perfect time to end this, but I wonder if we should talk about Star Fox at all real quick.
Oh,
yeah,
which,
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, only
No,
because...
let's not talk about it like Nintendo did.
Alright. That actually says a lot in him itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that thing is interesting in that it wasn't widely shown. I guess some outlets did get to see a little bit of it or play a little bit of it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And it's part of like the whole like project thing Miyamoto's been doing. You know, these multiple projects Miyamoto's been doing. 2 of which are at the show floor. And Star Fox isn't, which means it's in an even rougher state than those two. Which is, and don't get me wrong, those aren't. It's not like those are rough. It's just they're so simple and limited. It's like how behind is Star Fox right now.
Yeah.
The fact that they announced it so early, it seems,
Yeah.
and I guess they have on a fast track to get it out as fast as possible, was also kind of concerning in and of itself too.
Didn't they say they're working on it for 6 years? And that they were
Yeah,
going to be a Wii project?
in that leaked time interview, they mentioned they'd been working on it for about 6 years now. At least had a concept for it for 6 years, something to that effect. But
well, yeah, and I mean, it just felt. Sorry, we're gonna.
No,
it just felt that was a low point for me, just because that. For as long as we wanted a new Star Fox game, and that's been like a rumor and hushed whispers, it's like...
And they even joked about it, too, during the thing. Yeah.
And it felt like it deserved a bigger reveal.
It was anticlimactic.
It felt like it, like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That didn't... They worked on that for years.
Right.
And that didn't get revealed to us good and ready.
Yeah.
And Star Fox, I mean, I know we'd all be bitching that, there's no Star Fox, there's no Metroid, whatever, but... I'd rather have that. I'd rather have to wait another year and when we have a real name and a real demo than this kind of half reveal, half kind of not reveal.
And even more concerning is like how similar, like how they had the screenshots of Star Fox 64. As part of the press pack we got.
Yeah.
Where,
that was very weird.
Yeah, and we already know it's not. We already know it can't straight be a straight remake because we've learned a few new details about the game that it will be playing differently. But it is just a little bit weird, the whole thing. That it's just like another kind of reimagining, or
it almost just felt like they said it was happening only because they didn't want to have to weather another year of complaints that they're resting on Zelda and Mario and Smash. So.
And I guess actually that brings up one final point. Then we'll end this discussion. And that is, before this, Nintendo or Iwata had said, they were going to show off reasons why you need the gamepad. Why we have to keep shipping the gamepad with the system. Why it's a unique thing for the system. And we saw some of that with the project games we played today. Yeah. And then there's Star Fox, which also apparently is using it.
Kirby.
And
Toad.
That's right. Toad does use it, and then
and Kirby, like I said.
Yeah, how's Kirby use it? Oh, but
the whole thing.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know though. Like to me, it still feels like a lot of games. I don't know. It's so weird. Yeah, I still feel like they haven't gone far enough because like the project games seem to be almost at this point non-entities. I mean, who knows how those are going to end up?
They're experiments.
Yeah, and then there is, and then the other games that they're showing off being Toad, and I mean Toad's based on something that exists already, and then Kirby Canvas Curse, same thing.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's needed for Smash at all, or Hyrule Warriors, or Sonic Boom, really, to a degree. So, I agree. They haven't seemed to sell that claim.
It's a small step forward.
It is. No, I mean, it's an improvement. I guess I was hoping for something a little bit more ambitious. Ultimately, I was hoping Zelda was going to be that title. And we saw nothing of that,
which
really.
brings me to another point. Which is something I forgot.
This is never ending. Day one never ends.
Yeah, that's true.
Just that after last year and throughout the previous year where they promised, Zelda Wii U is being shown off in a big way. It's because it's coming out. We can wait. It makes sense. It wasn't ready last year. It wasn't really anything. It looked beautiful what we saw of it, but
it does. I mean, it got me excited, but again, it kind of gets back to the whole like they opened on just a field. It is totally casual. Don't get me wrong. I really like how that looks. No idea how it's gonna play.
Yeah.
I might hate it, but I hated Twilight Princess this huge world.
Yeah.
But it looked awesome. But it was the most anticlimactic way they could have opened it. Like, compare that to the 2004 trailer for Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
In the 9 days.
It just felt, I guess maybe I was fooling myself, but I at least thought it would get like a series reveal, like 10-15 minutes, on the digital event, or a playable demo.
Right.
I felt like it was that far along. I don't know why I did, but I just felt like it was farther along than a 5-minute discussion with Aonuma and then like a minute and a half of a trailer, which really didn't show us anything.
I totally forgot about that discussion. It was like there's a padding
Yeah.
you get to the game.
The thing I took away from it is it feels a lot more ambitious. than like the last few Zelda games.
Well, so they say.
So they say, but you show off that big world,
Right.
and the first thing that comes to your mind is Skyrim. So
Yeah.
having Zelda have a more of a Skyrim feel where you go anywhere, experience different things around Hyrule. I mean, the other thing I took from just that screen was this was a living, breathing world. You saw the wind swaying.
It looked great.
Yeah.
Goats going around in the
Yep.
background. It was really interesting. It sparked the imagination and gave you a
Yeah.
lot of hope. The problem is they didn't back up that hope with anything of substance other than a bit more of that a bit more of the trailer. It showed an action sequence, which admittedly was really freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it had a sci-fi bent to it, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
with
the
giant mech chasing whoever
Right.
that was.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of looked like one of those creatures. It does look like an enemy from Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword in a way, like
Does
an
it?
evolution of it. Like
Oh, yeah.
those guys with the blocks that come through or whatever. Like all those little greenish blocks come down.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. The explosions were awesome, and then but I guess the biggest question that came out of it is Link himself or herself, which might be the case, because that's the debate right now. Is that this might not be actually Link, or
That's right.
You know, if it is Link, it might be a female version because the feature seemed a lot more feminine this time around. You know, they had the hair pulled back a little bit, which is you know, guys do too in Japanese anime and whatnot. You know, but it just had more feminine. But also, he used a bow.
Yeah.
That's what he used. He didn't use a sword. It was a bow, which has traditionally been Zelda's weapon. So, and the other thing that stood out, he's wearing blue, not green.
Yeah.
So, what if you're playing somebody else in this game?
I think that'd be awesome.
I do too. I'm
Yeah.
actually personally kind of pulling for Link being a girl because we know Link obviously is you know, different generations, different Links. Why couldn't the spirit of the hero be, you know, a female for once? I think that would be really interesting. It doesn't even mean that Zelda would need to be a man. It could be, but either way, I just think it'd be a fun way to switch it up, and it would be really daring of Nintendo to take such an established character, an icon,
and just change
and change everything for that. At least even that one game.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty. And I totally thought Link was a girl, or that character was a girl when I first saw them. So that was my thought.
Is it wrong that for the longest time in Link Between Worlds I thought that bad guy was a girl?
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah.
Then they started calling Yuga a he, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Because even the laugh sounded feminine, so yeah.
Yep, indeed. But yeah, no, I want to see more of Zelda, so they accomplished that. I just wish we had seen more of it this year, yeah. Because, I mean, ultimately what gets me excited for Zelda games is the gameplay, and we saw almost none of that, so, and I want to see how it's going to use the gamepad, but overall, I think a very good first day. Nintendo had a good showing, and we'll have lots more on everything we saw over the coming days. So thanks guys for watching, and keep an eye on GameXplain.com for everything E3, mostly Nintendo related, but there's some other things too, thrown in there. Alright, thanks, bye.